Life, in its intricate beauty, often feels like a journey laden with invisible burdens. These burdens manifest as emotional wounds, unmet expectations, lingering regrets, or fears that haunt us in quiet moments. Without even realizing it, we carry these weights with us, allowing them to seep into our thoughts, actions, and relationships. Over time, they rob us of the joy and peace that are inherently ours to experience. But what does it truly mean to let go? Letting go is not a passive act of forgetting or suppressing, it is an active process of releasing the grip that these burdens have on our hearts and minds. It is about creating space within ourselves, not to escape pain, but to understand it, accept it, and eventually rise above it. Buddhism, with its timeless wisdom, offers profound guidance on this journey of release. Central to its teachings is the concept of attachment, the clinging to people, desires, or outcomes that leads to suffering. According to the Buddha, the root of our struggles lies in our inability to let go of what we think we need to be happy. When we learn to release these attachments, we open the door to a life of inner peace, clarity, and freedom. In this exploration, we'll uncover 5 transformative lessons rooted in Buddhist principles that illuminate the path to letting go. These lessons are not abstract ideas but practical guides for navigating the complexities of modern life. Through them, you'll discover how to release the emotional and mental baggage that holds you back, helping you cultivate a life filled with lightness, balance, and joy. Letting go is not about perfection, it's a practice, a lifelong journey of learning to surrender and trust the flow of life. With each step, you will find yourself moving closer to a state of profound peace and resilience. Are you ready to begin this transformative journey? Let's take the first step together. Lesson 1: Understanding the nature of attachment. One of the most profound teachings of the Buddha is the recognition of how attachment serves as a root cause of suffering. At the heart of human existence lies a paradox: we yearn for permanence in an impermanent world. We cling to people, possessions, experiences, and even ideas, hoping they will provide lasting happiness. Yet, the very act of clinging often leads to pain, disappointment, and frustration when the transient nature of life inevitably reveals itself. The Buddha explained this through the concept of tanha, or craving. This craving arises in various forms: the desire for pleasure, the thirst for existence or permanence, and even the urge to avoid discomfort. It is this attachment, this grasping at things we perceive as essential to our happiness, that binds us to cycles of suffering. Consider the impermanence of everything we hold dear. Relationships evolve, material possessions degrade, success can be fleeting, and even our own bodies are subject to change. When we attach our sense of self or happiness to these impermanent phenomena, we set ourselves up for inevitable sorrow when they change or fade. The wisdom of non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean detachment or indifference. It's not about shutting down emotions or withdrawing from life. Instead, it is about engaging with life fully while recognizing and accepting its impermanence. Non-attachment allows us to love, achieve, and experience joy without becoming enslaved by fear, expectation, or the need to control outcomes. For instance, you can deeply love someone without being possessive or fearful of losing them. True love flourishes not when it clings but when it flows freely. Similarly, you can pursue your dreams with dedication without letting failure or success define your self-worth. Non-attachment is about being fully present, appreciating each moment, and letting go of the need to manipulate life into fitting our expectations. Practical reflection. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Is there an area where attachment is causing you pain or dissatisfaction? Perhaps it's a relationship where you feel the fear of loss, a career goal that you've tied to your sense of identity, or a memory you can't let go of. Ask yourself these questions. 1. Why am I holding on? Is it out of fear, insecurity, or a desire to maintain control? 2. What am I truly seeking? Happiness, stability, or validation? 3. What would happen if I let go? Would I find freedom, peace, or a new path forward? Story: a bowl of water. There's a story in Buddhist teachings that beautifully illustrates the futility of clinging. A monk once asked his teacher why he suffered so much. The teacher handed him a bowl of water and asked him to hold it tightly in his hands. "Don't let it spill," the teacher warned. As the monk walked, he held the bowl so tightly that it eventually cracked, and the water spilled out anyway. "Now, hold the bowl gently," the teacher instructed. The monk did as he was told, and this time, the bowl remained intact, and the water stayed inside. "The harder you cling," the teacher explained, "the more you risk losing what you're trying to keep. But when you hold gently, with care but not desperation, you preserve it longer and suffer less when it's time to let go." Real-life example. Consider someone who is deeply attached to their career, pouring endless hours into work in the belief that success will bring them happiness. They sacrifice time with loved ones, neglect their health, and tie their self-worth to their achievements. But when their career faces setbacks, whether through failure, job loss, or retirement, they feel lost and empty. Non-attachment doesn't mean giving up ambition, it means redefining the relationship with work. By recognizing that their worth is not tied to their job and by embracing the impermanence of professional success, they can find balance. They can still strive for excellence while also nurturing other aspects of their life, like relationships, hobbies, and self-care. Letting go, a gateway to freedom. Understanding and embracing impermanence is liberating. When we let go of attachment, we stop wasting energy trying to control the uncontrollable. We begin to trust life's natural ebb and flow, allowing ourselves to experience each moment with clarity and peace. Letting go is not about abandoning what matters, it's about releasing the grip of fear and expectation. It's an act of courage, an acknowledgement that life's impermanence is not an enemy but a teacher guiding us toward wisdom and freedom. Lesson 2. Practicing mindfulness to understand emotions. Mindfulness is one of the central practices in Buddhism, a powerful tool to navigate the complexities of life. At its core, mindfulness is the ability to remain fully present in the moment, observing our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. It is not about stopping emotions but about gaining a deeper understanding of them. The Buddha often compared the untrained mind to a monkey, constantly jumping from one thought to another, restless and reactive. This monkey mind causes us to overthink, worry about the future, dwell on the past, or become overwhelmed by emotions. Mindfulness, however, allows us to step back, observe the mind's activity, and respond to life with greater clarity and wisdom. Why mindfulness matters. Emotions can be powerful forces, capable of driving our actions and shaping our experiences. When left unchecked, they can lead us astray. Anger can turn into destructive rage, desire can breed greed, and fear can paralyze us. But emotions themselves are not inherently negative. Through mindfulness, we learn to acknowledge and accept them, using them as opportunities for growth rather than sources of suffering. Mindfulness teaches us to observe emotions as they arise, understanding their triggers and patterns. For example, rather than reacting impulsively when anger flares, mindfulness creates a space between the emotion and our response. In this space, we can choose to act with compassion and wisdom instead of letting anger control us. The Buddha's teaching on mindfulness. The Buddha introduced the practice of mindfulness through the Satipatthana Sutta, or the Discourse on the Foundations of Mindfulness. This teaching outlines 4 areas of mindfulness. 1. Mindfulness of the body, observing physical sensations, breathing, and posture to ground ourselves in the present. 2. Mindfulness of feelings, becoming aware of pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral sensations without clinging or aversion. 3. Mindfulness of the mind, noticing mental states such as anger, joy, or fear, and recognizing them as temporary. 4. Mindfulness of mental objects, observing thoughts and perceptions, understanding their impermanence and interconnection. By cultivating these areas of mindfulness, we develop the ability to approach life with equanimity and balance. Story: The Cup of Tea. A Zen story illustrates the power of mindfulness. A student once visited a Zen master to ask about mindfulness. The master handed the student a cup of tea and asked him to drink it slowly, savoring each sip. The student, eager to hear the lesson, quickly drank the tea, thinking it was unimportant. The master smiled and said, "You missed the point. When you drink tea, just drink tea. When you work, just work. When you feel, just feel." Mindfulness is not about rushing to understand but about fully experiencing each moment. Practical techniques for mindfulness. 1. Breath awareness. Take a few moments each day to focus on your breathing. Observe each inhale and exhale, allowing your breath to anchor you in the present. 2. Body scan meditation. Sit or lie down and slowly bring your attention to different parts of your body, noticing any tension or sensations. This practice helps you connect with your physical self and release stress. 3. Labeling emotions. When a strong emotion arises, name it: anger, joy, sadness. This simple act of labeling creates distance, allowing you to observe the emotion without being consumed by it. 4. Mindful eating. Pay attention to the texture, taste, and smell of your food. Eat slowly and appreciate the experience, rather than rushing through meals distracted by thoughts or screens. 5. Daily mindfulness moments. Choose an activity you do daily, like brushing your teeth or washing dishes, and practice doing it mindfully. Focus on the sensations, movements, and details involved. Real-life example. Imagine someone struggling with anxiety. Their mind is constantly racing, consumed by what-ifs about the future. Through mindfulness, they learn to notice the early signs of anxiety: a tightening in the chest, shallow breathing, or repetitive thoughts. Instead of being swept away by fear, they pause, take deep breaths, and observe their anxiety as if it were a passing cloud. Over time, they realize that the anxiety doesn't define them, it's just an experience that comes and goes. By practicing mindfulness, they reclaim control over their reactions and find a sense of calm amidst uncertainty. Mindfulness as a way of life. Mindfulness is not a one-time practice, it's a way of being. The more you integrate it into your daily life, the more you'll notice its transformative effects. You'll start responding to challenges with greater patience, appreciating simple joys, and finding peace even in the midst of chaos. Lesson 3: Letting go of attachment. One of the Buddha's most profound teachings is the recognition that attachment is a primary source of suffering. In the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha identified craving, tanha, our clinging to people, possessions, outcomes, and even ideas, as a central cause of our dissatisfaction in life. By learning to let go of attachment, we free ourselves from the cycle of longing and disappointment, allowing true peace to arise. Understanding the nature of attachment. Attachment often masquerades as love or ambition, making it difficult to identify. We might think, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion," or "I need this person to stay in my life to feel secure." However, this mindset traps us in a constant state of yearning, as no possession, status, or relationship can provide lasting happiness. The Buddha likened attachment to holding a burning coal in our hands, hoping it will warm us. Instead, it burns us. This metaphor illustrates how clinging to impermanent things only brings pain. The freedom of non-attachment. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning relationships or giving up on meaningful goals. Instead, it involves recognizing the impermanent nature of all things and cultivating an attitude of openness and acceptance. When we practice non-attachment, we engage with life fully without being enslaved by it. For example, imagine holding sand in your hand. If you grip it tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it remains in your palm. Non-attachment allows us to hold life's experiences lightly, appreciating them without trying to control or cling to them. The Buddha's teaching on letting go. The Buddha often shared parables to illustrate the importance of letting go. One well-known story is the parable of the raft. A man was traveling and came to a vast river. To cross it, he built a raft and paddled to the other side. Once he reached the shore, he thought, "This raft was so helpful, I should carry it with me wherever I go." The Buddha explained that the raft symbolizes teachings or tools that serve us at one point in life but may no longer be necessary. Clinging to them out of habit or fear prevents us from moving forward. Signs of attachment in daily life. Emotional dependence, feeling that your happiness depends on another person or situation. Fear of change, resisting transitions because of comfort in the familiar. Over-identification with roles or possessions, defining yourself by your job, status, or material things. Perfectionism, struggling to let go of outcomes or control over situations. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to freeing yourself from attachment. Story: The Monkey Trap. A traditional story highlights the futility of attachment. In ancient times, hunters would trap monkeys by placing fruit in a jar with a narrow opening. The monkey could reach inside and grab the fruit but couldn't pull its hand out while holding it. Refusing to let go of the fruit, the monkey would remain trapped, even though freedom was just a release away. This story mirrors how we trap ourselves by holding on to desires, grudges, or expectations. Letting go is the key to liberation. Practical steps to let go of attachment. 1. Practice gratitude. Focus on appreciating what you have without clinging to it. Gratitude shifts the mindset from, "I need this," to, "I am thankful for this moment." 2. Meditate on impermanence. Reflect on the ever-changing nature of life. Visualize how everything, from relationships to possessions, follows a natural cycle of arising and passing away. 3. Embrace change. View change not as a loss but as an opportunity for growth. Recognize that every ending opens the door to a new beginning. 4. Simplify your life. Let go of material possessions or commitments that no longer serve you. Simplifying creates space for deeper experiences. 5. Release expectations. Avoid setting rigid expectations for yourself or others. Accept people and situations as they are, rather than how you wish them to be. Real-life example. Imagine someone who loses their job. If they are attached to their identity as a successful professional, they may feel devastated, as though they've lost their sense of worth. However, by letting go of attachment to their role, they can view the situation as an opportunity to explore new paths, develop skills, or pursue passions they had set aside. The joy of letting go. When we release our attachments, we make space for genuine freedom and joy. We begin to appreciate life not for what we want it to be, but for what it is. Letting go doesn't mean losing, it means gaining a deeper connection to the present moment, unburdened by fear or desire. Lesson 4: Cultivating Mindfulness. Mindfulness lies at the heart of Buddhist practice and serves as a powerful tool for self-awareness, emotional regulation, and inner peace. The Buddha described mindfulness as the direct path to enlightenment, enabling us to live fully in the present moment without being swept away by the past or future. The power of being present. In our fast-paced modern lives, it's easy to become trapped in mental overdrive. We replay past mistakes or worry about future uncertainties, robbing ourselves of the richness of the present moment. Mindfulness breaks this cycle by bringing our attention back to the now. When you are mindful, you engage with life as it unfolds. Eating becomes an act of savoring flavors, walking transforms into a connection with the earth beneath your feet, and conversations deepen as you listen with full attention. The Buddha's teaching on mindfulness. The Buddha's discourse on mindfulness is captured in the Satipatthana Sutta, the 4 foundations of mindfulness, where he outlines 4 areas to cultivate awareness. 1. Body, kaya, observing physical sensations, movements, and the breath. 2. Feelings, vedana, noticing pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feelings without judgment. 3. Mind, citta, watching mental states, such as anger, joy, or restlessness, arise and pass away. 4. Mental objects, dhamma, contemplating thoughts, emotions, and experiences within the framework of Buddhist teachings. Through these practices, we develop a deep understanding of ourselves and the impermanent nature of all experiences. Everyday mindfulness practices. 1. Mindful breathing. Your breath is a powerful anchor to the present moment. Spend a few minutes each day focusing on your inhale and exhale. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back to your breath. 2. Mindful eating. Eat without distractions, savoring each bite. Notice the flavors, textures, and the effort that went into preparing your meal. 3. Body scan meditation. Close your eyes and bring awareness to each part of your body, from head to toe. This practice not only grounds you but also helps release tension. 4. Single tasking. Instead of multitasking, focus on one activity at a time. Whether you're writing, cooking, or cleaning, give it your full attention. 5. Mindful walking. Walk slowly, paying attention to each step and the sensations in your feet as they touch the ground. Let your walk be a meditation in motion. The science behind mindfulness. In recent years, mindfulness has been widely studied and embraced in the fields of psychology and neuroscience. Research has shown that mindfulness practices can reduce stress and anxiety by calming the mind, enhance emotional regulation by increasing awareness of triggers, improve focus and productivity by training the brain to stay present, boost physical health by lowering blood pressure and improving sleep. Story: The cup of tea. A Zen master once poured tea for a guest. He filled the cup until it overflowed, spilling tea everywhere. Surprised, the guest exclaimed, "The cup is full. No more will go in." The master replied, "Like this cup, your mind is full of worries and distractions. To experience peace, you must first empty your cup." This story reminds us that mindfulness creates space in our minds for clarity and calm. By letting go of mental clutter, we can fully embrace each moment. How mindfulness transforms life. Mindfulness isn't just a practice, it's a way of being. When you live mindfully, you respond to challenges with composure instead of reacting impulsively. You develop gratitude for simple pleasures, like the warmth of sunlight or the sound of birdsong. You deepen your relationships by being fully present with loved ones. A practical example. Consider a person stuck in traffic. Without mindfulness, they might become impatient, replaying their frustration and worrying about being late. With mindfulness, they could shift their focus to their breath, notice the sensations of the seat supporting them, and even appreciate the music playing in the car. This simple shift transforms a stressful situation into an opportunity for peace. A call to live mindfully. Mindfulness is a lifelong journey. It doesn't require a perfect setting or hours of practice, it simply asks for your attention in the here and now. Start small. Begin with one mindful breath, one mindful bite, or one mindful step. Over time, these moments will weave together into a life filled with presence and purpose. Lesson 5: Developing compassion and loving kindness. Compassion and loving kindness are central to Buddhist practice, representing the essence of how we relate to others and ourselves. The Buddha taught that cultivating these qualities not only alleviates the suffering of others but also brings immense peace to our own hearts. The nature of compassion and loving kindness. Compassion, karuna, is the deep empathy for the suffering of others, coupled with the desire to relieve that suffering. Loving kindness, metta, is the unconditional love and goodwill extended to all beings, without attachment or expectation of anything in return. Both qualities are antidotes to hatred, anger, and fear. While compassion moves us to ease others' pain, loving kindness fosters an open, warm-hearted connection to all life, helping us approach the world with openness and kindness. The Buddha's teaching on compassion and loving kindness. The Buddha encouraged cultivating these qualities through various practices, most notably the metta bhavana, loving-kindness meditation. In this meditation, practitioners gradually expand their circle of loving-kindness, starting with themselves and then radiating that love outward to others. 1. Loving-kindness for self. Often, we struggle to offer kindness to ourselves, believing we must be perfect to deserve it. The Buddha taught that self-compassion is the foundation for extending love to others. Without a compassionate heart towards ourselves, it is difficult to cultivate compassion for others. 2. Loving kindness for others. As we develop compassion for ourselves, we extend that loving kindness to others, starting with loved ones, and then gradually expanding to include neutral people, difficult people, and all beings. This practice allows us to break down barriers between ourselves and others, replacing judgment with empathy and love. 3. The Four Immeasurables. The Buddha outlined 4 immeasurable qualities that guide the cultivation of compassion and loving kindness. O loving kindness, metta, the wish for all beings to be happy. O compassion, karuna, the wish for all beings to be free from suffering. O sympathetic joy, mudita, the ability to rejoice in the happiness of others. O equanimity, upekkha, the capacity to remain balanced and peaceful in the face of both joy and suffering. These qualities are cultivated not only in meditation but also in daily interactions with others. When you practice these qualities, you build a heart that radiates warmth and love into the world. Practical practices for cultivating compassion and loving kindness. 1. Loving kindness meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and silently repeat phrases of loving kindness to yourself, such as, "Oh, may I be happy. Oh, may I be free from suffering. Oh, may I live with ease." Then, gradually extend these wishes to others. Oh, may all beings be happy. Oh, may all beings be free from suffering. Oh, may all beings live with ease. 2. Acts of kindness. In addition to meditation, show loving kindness through small, everyday acts. Offer a smile to a stranger, help a colleague with their work, or simply listen attentively when someone shares their feelings. These acts, however small, ripple out to make a difference. 3. Forgiveness. Compassion also includes forgiveness, letting go of resentment and anger. When we forgive, we release ourselves from the grip of suffering, offering freedom to both ourselves and the other person. The Buddha taught that holding on to grudges only causes us pain. 4. Loving kindness in difficult situations. When faced with challenges, such as conflicts with others or feelings of resentment, try to approach the situation with loving kindness. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, take a deep breath and consider how you can bring compassion to the interaction. 5. Compassion for yourself. Many of us are quick to criticize ourselves, especially when we make mistakes. Cultivate compassion by treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Acknowledge your imperfections with understanding and patience, rather than judgment. The benefits of compassion and loving kindness. Research has shown that practicing compassion and loving kindness has numerous benefits for our mental, emotional, and physical health. Increased happiness. Loving kindness practices enhance our emotional well-being by fostering a sense of connection and love. Reduced stress. Compassion practices activate the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation and reducing stress. Improved relationships. When we approach others with compassion and understanding, we strengthen our relationships and create a more harmonious environment. Greater resilience. Compassionate individuals tend to cope better with challenges and adversity, as they are more likely to approach difficulties with empathy rather than frustration. Story: The healing power of compassion. There is a story of a Buddhist monk who went to visit a village after a devastating flood. The villagers were grieving, having lost homes and loved ones. The monk simply sat with them, offering no words of wisdom or advice, but instead radiating an overwhelming sense of peace and compassion. Over time, the villagers began to feel comforted by his presence, and the community found strength in the monk's silent compassion. The monk's loving kindness healed the villagers' hearts and reminded them that even in the face of suffering, love and compassion can bring hope and renewal. A call to cultivate compassion and loving kindness. True compassion and loving kindness are not abstract concepts, they are practices that transform our lives. Start by cultivating these qualities within yourself. Extend kindness to your loved ones, your neighbors, and even those you find difficult to understand. The Buddha's teachings remind us that love and compassion are limitless, available to all beings, and essential for a peaceful, harmonious life. The more we practice, the more we soften our hearts, becoming beacons of peace and kindness in the world. Lesson 6: The practice of mindfulness in daily life. Mindfulness is the foundation of many Buddhist practices, acting as the key to cultivating awareness, presence, and inner peace. The Buddha emphasized mindfulness as a path to liberation, teaching that through careful attention to our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can transform our lives. Understanding mindfulness. Mindfulness, sati, refers to the quality of awareness that arises when we pay attention to the present moment without judgment. It is the practice of observing our thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise, without getting caught up in them or reacting impulsively. The Buddha taught mindfulness as a way to understand the impermanence of all things and the nature of suffering. By observing the mind and body in their natural state, we gain insight into how we create suffering through attachment, craving, and aversion. The Buddha's teaching on mindfulness. Mindfulness is often taught through the framework of the Satipatthana Sutta, one of the most important texts in the Buddhist tradition. This discourse outlines 4 foundations of mindfulness. 1. Mindfulness of the body. This practice involves bringing awareness to our physical sensations, movements, and posture. It can include practices like mindful breathing, walking meditation, or simply being aware of how we sit, stand, and move throughout the day. 2. Mindfulness of feelings. The Buddha encouraged mindfulness of our feelings, recognizing how we experience pleasure, pain, and neutral sensations. By observing our feelings without attachment, we gain insight into their impermanent nature. 3. Mindfulness of the mind. This foundation focuses on being aware of the states of our mind, whether it is clear, agitated, distracted, or calm. By observing the fluctuations of the mind, we can understand how our thoughts and emotions shape our experience. 4. Mindfulness of mental objects. This practice involves observing the objects of our consciousness, such as thoughts, ideas, and perceptions, without becoming attached or identified with them. It helps us understand the nature of thoughts and how they come and go. Bringing mindfulness into daily life. While formal meditation is an important aspect of mindfulness, the true challenge lies in integrating mindfulness into everyday life. This involves being fully present in whatever task we are engaged in, whether it's eating, walking, or even talking with others. Here are some practical ways to bring mindfulness into daily activities. 1. Mindful eating. The next time you eat, try to do so with full attention. Notice the textures, flavors, and smells of your food. Eat slowly, savoring each bite, and avoid distractions like watching TV or checking your phone. Mindful eating allows you to cultivate gratitude for the nourishment you receive and helps develop a deeper connection with your body. 2. Mindful walking. As you walk, pay attention to each step. Feel the ground beneath your feet, notice the movement of your body, and observe the environment around you. Walking meditation can help ground you in the present moment, no matter where you are. 3. Mindful listening. When engaging with others, listen fully without judgment or distraction. Pay attention not only to the words being spoken but also to the emotions and intentions behind them. Mindful listening fosters deeper connections and more meaningful conversations. 4. Mindful breathing. Taking a few moments throughout the day to focus on your breath can center your mind and reduce stress. Pay attention to the rise and fall of your abdomen or the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils. This simple practice can bring calm and clarity to even the busiest moments. 5. Mindful work. Whatever task you are doing, whether it's cleaning, cooking, or working on a project, approach it with full attention. Rather than rushing through it or multitasking, bring your focus to the task at hand. This helps to reduce stress and improve the quality of your work. The power of mindfulness for personal growth. Mindfulness has profound effects on our emotional and mental well-being. By observing our thoughts and emotions with non-judgmental awareness, we begin to understand how we react to situations and become less controlled by automatic responses. 1. Breaking habits and patterns. Mindfulness allows us to recognize habitual patterns of thinking and behavior. For example, when we notice that we are feeling angry or frustrated, we can pause and examine the situation before reacting. This pause gives us the opportunity to choose how we respond, rather than reacting mindlessly. 2. Developing emotional intelligence. Mindfulness helps us become more aware of our emotions, making it easier to understand and regulate them. By recognizing when we are angry, sad, or anxious, we can address these emotions in a healthy way, rather than letting them control us. 3. Cultivating inner peace. When we are mindful, we are able to let go of unnecessary stress and mental clutter. By staying present in the moment, we stop worrying about the past or future, allowing peace and clarity to arise naturally. 4. Enhancing relationships. Mindfulness improves our relationships by allowing us to be more present and compassionate with others. When we listen attentively and respond mindfully, we create a more supportive and harmonious environment. 5. Deepening spiritual practice. Mindfulness also deepens our spiritual practice by helping us become more aware of our true nature. By observing our thoughts, actions, and reactions, we begin to see through the illusion of self, realizing that we are not our thoughts or emotions, but the awareness behind them. Story: The Monk and the Angry Man. A Buddhist monk was walking along a road when he encountered a man who was shouting insults at him. The monk remained calm and continued walking without responding. The man became more agitated, calling the monk names and demanding a reaction. Finally, the man asked, "Why don't you respond? Don't you feel angry?" The monk smiled and replied, "I am like the earth. The earth does not get angry when people walk on it, nor does it respond to insults. The earth simply allows things to pass." The man, seeing the monk's calm and mindful response, began to calm himself as well. The monk's peace and presence had the power to transform the situation. A call to cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a fleeting practice, but a way of life. It is the path to freedom from suffering, the means to deepen our understanding of ourselves, and the key to experiencing life fully. By integrating mindfulness into our daily activities, we can create a life filled with awareness, peace, and wisdom. The Buddha's teachings remind us that each moment is an opportunity to be present, to cultivate awareness, and to awaken to the beauty and impermanence of life. Lesson 7: The Power of Compassion and Loving Kindness. Compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta, are central to the Buddha's teachings and are considered essential for cultivating a peaceful and harmonious life. These qualities not only benefit those we direct them toward but also bring profound healing to our own hearts. Understanding compassion and loving kindness. Compassion is the ability to empathize with the suffering of others and the genuine desire to alleviate it. In Buddhist teachings, compassion is not limited to just feeling pity for others but is the active wish for others to be free from suffering. Loving kindness, on the other hand, refers to the unconditional love and goodwill we wish for others, regardless of their behavior or status. It is a wish for happiness and peace for all beings, free from attachment and desire for personal gain. Both of these qualities are closely tied to the Buddhist understanding of interconnectedness, recognizing that all beings share the same desire for happiness and the avoidance of suffering. The Buddha's teaching on compassion and loving kindness. The Buddha taught that compassion and loving kindness are antidotes to the suffering caused by selfishness, anger, and hatred. He emphasized that cultivating these qualities is not only a way to help others but also a means of transforming our own hearts and minds. 1. The Four Immeasurables. One of the Buddha's key teachings on compassion and loving kindness is the practice of the Brahmavihara or Four Immeasurables. These are four qualities that, when cultivated, can lead to boundless love and compassion. O loving kindness, metta, the wish for all beings to be happy and free from suffering. O compassion, karuna, the desire for all beings to be free from suffering and the willingness to help alleviate that suffering. O sympathetic joy, mudita, the ability to take joy in the happiness and success of others without jealousy or envy. O equanimity, upekkha, the ability to remain balanced and unaffected by the ups and downs of life, treating all beings equally, regardless of their actions or circumstances. These qualities, when developed together, create a mind that is full of peace, love, and joy. 2. The importance of compassion in Buddhism. The Buddha taught that compassion is essential for enlightenment. Without compassion, the path to liberation would be incomplete. It is through developing deep empathy for others and actively seeking to reduce their suffering that we purify our own hearts and minds. 3. The Buddha's example. The Buddha's own life was a shining example of compassion. He dedicated himself to teaching others the path to freedom from suffering, showing deep compassion even for those who persecuted him. One famous story is of a man named Devdatta, who tried to kill the Buddha out of jealousy. Despite this, the Buddha responded with compassion, understanding that Devdatta's actions were born from ignorance and suffering, not hatred alone. Cultivating compassion and loving kindness. While the practice of compassion and loving kindness may seem simple, it requires deep commitment and understanding. Here are some practical ways to cultivate these qualities in our daily lives. 1. Start with yourself. It is difficult to show compassion and loving kindness to others if we do not first extend these qualities to ourselves. Self-compassion involves recognizing our own suffering without judgment and offering ourselves care and understanding. By treating ourselves with kindness, we develop the capacity to treat others with the same level of care. 2. Practice loving-kindness meditation, metta bhavana. A powerful way to cultivate loving-kindness is through meditation. In metta bhavana or loving-kindness meditation, we focus on sending thoughts of love and goodwill to ourselves, loved ones, strangers, and even people we find difficult. This meditation helps open our hearts and creates a sense of connection with all beings. A simple practice involves silently repeating phrases like, "Oh, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Oh, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease." As you move through each person in your circle, you expand your loving kindness until it reaches all beings in the world. 3. Engage in acts of compassion. Compassion is best expressed through action. Small, everyday acts of kindness, whether it's helping someone in need, listening to someone who is suffering, or simply offering a smile, can have a powerful impact on the world around you. The more we practice compassion in our daily lives, the easier it becomes to extend it to everyone we encounter. 4. Cultivate sympathetic joy, mudita. Instead of feeling jealousy or resentment when others succeed or find happiness, practice sympathetic joy by rejoicing in their achievements. This not only nurtures positive emotions in yourself but also strengthens your connection with others. 5. Practice equanimity. Equanimity is the quality of remaining calm and balanced in the face of life's ups and downs. It is essential for maintaining compassion and loving kindness, as it allows you to respond to difficult situations without being swept away by emotions like anger or frustration. By cultivating equanimity, you can meet all situations with an open heart and mind, remaining unaffected by external circumstances. The transformative power of compassion and loving kindness. When we practice compassion and loving kindness, we transform not only the lives of others but also our own. These qualities help us transcend our ego and the narrow view of the world that arises from attachment and selfishness. They open our hearts to the suffering of others and inspire us to act with kindness and care. Moreover, compassion and loving kindness are powerful tools for overcoming suffering in our own lives. By shifting our focus from self-centered desires to the well-being of others, we begin to free ourselves from the chains of craving and aversion. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes not from accumulating wealth or power but from the cultivation of virtues like compassion and loving kindness. As we develop these qualities, we create a life filled with peace, joy, and contentment. Story: the Buddha and the angry villager. One day, an angry villager approached the Buddha, hurling insults and accusations. Instead of retaliating, the Buddha calmly asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The villager replied, "It belongs to the one who offered it." The Buddha smiled and said, "Similarly, your anger belongs to you, and I do not accept it. You are free to keep it if you wish, but I will not take it from you." The villager, realizing his foolishness, felt ashamed and left in silence. Through the Buddha's compassion, the situation was transformed, demonstrating the power of a peaceful and loving heart in the face of anger. A call to practice compassion and loving kindness. The Buddha's teachings on compassion and loving kindness remind us that the path to liberation is not one of isolation but of deep connection with all beings. By cultivating these qualities, we not only reduce the suffering of others but also transform our own hearts and minds. Through our actions, thoughts, and words, we have the power to create a world filled with love, kindness, and compassion. Each moment offers an opportunity to practice these virtues, and by doing so, we move closer to the ultimate freedom from suffering. Conclusion. In modern life, we are often caught up in worries, stress, and negative thoughts. However, through the teachings of Buddha on compassion and love, we come to realize that peace and happiness are not distant or unattainable. Qualities like compassion, karuna, and unconditional love, metta, are powerful tools that not only alleviate the suffering of others but also help us heal and find inner tranquility. The journey of applying these principles in daily life is not always easy, but it is a meaningful and transformative path. Every small act of kindness, every word spoken with compassion, and every thought of love for ourselves and others are significant steps on this path. When we learn to nurture compassion and love, we not only create a better life for ourselves but also help spread peace and happiness to those around us. By concluding this lesson, we can see that cultivating compassion and love is not a duty, but an opportunity to connect with the world and ourselves on a deeper level. By practicing compassion and love in every action, word, and thought, we can create a better world where everyone experiences true peace and happiness. Remember, even small changes in the life of each individual can create a ripple effect that brings transformation to the community and the world around us. As Buddha taught, each of us has the potential to awaken and be free from suffering, and this path begins with compassion and love. I wish you peace, happiness, and mindfulness on this journey.